Hello, guys, and welcome to another Christmas episode of Stories, the True and the Fictional. We've got a great guest we're going to bring in very shortly, but before we do, I'm one of your hosts, Jay Bryden. With me always is the wonderful resident reader, Ryan. How are we going, Ryan?
I'm living the dream. Um, I've been doing lots of reading this week, which has been good. I am about 30 pages from finishing Eamon Bradley's Puddle People arc, which is very, very good. Very mad scientist-y horror kind of thing, which is good. And it's set in a town in Ireland, so I'm constantly asking my wife, is this how they talk? Is this how they say, because they don't say the F word, they say flicking and flicking. And I'm like, do they actually say that? She's like, yes, they do. We do. So I'm like, okay, cool. He said it in a town in Northern Ireland, because he's from Ireland himself. So yeah, really enjoyed that. I started reading Naughty List on the Kindle app for that we had Don Campbell on our last episode. I started reading his book, which is just top notch. I'm up to chapter 16, I think about halfway through. Yeah, just as good as any of his other books. Again, there's really only been 3 characters in the whole book so far, and he has that ability to not make it feel like there's only 3 characters. It feels like there's a whole world that's involved. So that's really good. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing. Doing lots and lots of reading, reading comics, reading books. I bought an insane amount of books this week. I bought a few. There's a horror movie coming out in Boxing Day called The Housemaid, and I found out it was based on a trilogy of books, so I bought those books on Kindle. I bought like 12 books this week, but I know I'm going to get them all read because there's not much to do up here. So yeah, loving it, and looking forward to end of year awards as well, which we've announced the nominees for.
Yes, we did announce the nominees for our Cursel's Indie Book Awards. Very excited about that, and probably should clear some things up right now because I think a little people may not know how we chose these, because like we get a lot of covers, we see a lot of covers, and I can go, that's a great cover, but it's exclusively to the people that come on the podcast and the people that me and Neil judge on our work series. So that's how you get nominated. You submit your book cover for us to judge harshly, and you weasel your way onto the podcast and get Ryan to read your book, and you'll probably win if you write horror. I'm just saying.
That's right. And how I think my books of the year are simple. I read them, I like them, so they're my books of the year. It's quite simple. And yes, they are all horror. And yes, 3 of them are Dark Veil Society members, and that's because we've had a lot of them on this year.
Yeah.
And they can write really well. So yeah, I've read that many books this year. I couldn't just pick one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've picked 4 of my all-time favourite book reads of this year for my choices. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, so remind me again where the name The Curses comes from.
Well, we should probably mention our sponsors, Rebecca Castles and Martin Kearns. Now, Martin Kearns and Rebecca Castles, and you merge the names together and it's the Cursels, and it sounded better than the Kisserns or something, you know.
Well, I didn't know that, but I thought we'd just give another chance to mention how we got the name. We're honouring our sponsors.
Yes, and guys, if you do win Best Read of the Year and if you win Best Cover of the Year, you will be honorary sponsors for a year, and you can defend that title by writing more awesome books. So that episode will come out on pretty much the 31st of this year, the last day of the year, and Neil's going to jump on, and we're going to have a wonderful time talking about the best reads and best covers. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, well, let's bring in our guest. He's waited long enough. He rescheduled once, so it's about time we bring him in. Huw Langridge, thank you for joining us.
Hi, Jamie. Hi, Ryan. Thanks so much for having me on.
Oh, we can't get rid of the British, can we, Ryan? They keep coming on.
I know. Even the ones that move over to Australia, they still keep coming on the show. Matthew Turner. But yeah, no, we do love our
Yes.
Well, considering Well, yeah, two of the nominations for Book of the Year have been written by British people. So there you go.
Well, the
So yeah, brilliant. Keep an outside up. That's great.
that,
Exactly.
that's it. Well, Hugh, for people that may not know, who is Huw Langridge?
Right. Well, yeah. So I was born and raised in London and lived there for most of my life, and obviously worked there and everything. And more recently, well, I say more recently, in the last 10 years or so, moved to North Wales. Always wanted to live by the sea. So all this time I was enjoying London,
Mm,
loving it, loving the time that you can have there. But then started a family. Always wanted to live by the sea. So now I'm living in North Wales, just a stone's throw from the beach, and absolutely loving up here. Yeah,
amazing. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the beach. And I live in the mountains, so the beach is
right.
pretty far from me. And it's definitely I prefer the beach and the mountains to any bustling city. So I couldn't imagine what London would have been like.
Yeah, I mean, when you're young and having, you're young, free, and single or whatever, having a
Yeah,
great time, it's great, and there's bars everywhere. There's so much to do.
yeah.
Every day you'll be doing something different, and absolutely have brilliant, fond memories of being there. I'm not sure I'm all that keen to go back in any way.
Mm,
Even when I do go back, it's changed so much. It's just
yeah.
absolutely, going at a tremendous speed of development and everything. So yeah, you realize that actually when you go and sort of live somewhere way away from the city,
Yeah.
the pace of life and everything just changes. And yeah, yes, actually it's given me a lot more time to write, perhaps. Yeah,
Mm, yes. Yes. Well, you've written quite a lot of books. So we're going to get into that
yeah,
shortly. But first, we have the Christmas themed icebreaker questions.
sure,
Hmm.
absolutely.
So Ryan, are you going to go first again, or do you want me to go first this time?
I am just going to have a look at those questions again because this is only the second time we've read them.
Yes.
So let me have a look. I am. No, I'll go second because it's only
Okay.
fair. I went first last time.
Okay. Okay. So Hugh, for some reason you find yourself sitting on Santa's lap. What are you asking him for Christmas?
All right. Well, I don't know if this is a cheeky one, but my last book, but one, was called Hoodwink's Folly, and it's based on a board game of the same name. Obviously, it's a fictional board game,
Yeah.
but when I was writing it, I thought, do you know what? If this was I wanted to make it sound as real as possible, so that
Mm.
you believe it when the story carries on. So. I was sort of dreaming up this board game from the 1980s. I thought, you know what? I would actually really like to play that. So maybe a bit of a cheeky answer, but if somebody bought me a copy of Hoodwink's Folly, the board game, I would be absolutely chuffed.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's I got questions about that board game now.
Awesome.
But I'm going to save them for the for the book talk.
Yeah.
Uh,
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. All right. You're in charge of the Christmas dinner at your place. What is on the menu?
Right. Well, I'm also very into the traditional turkey and big Christmas meal and all that sense. Um, I I wouldn't necessarily say I'm the best cook in the world. So when it comes to doing roasts, I can do them, but when it comes to like a large quantity of people, I probably fall apart. I'd certainly use every pan and utensil in the kitchen and create a whole bunch of washing up that was unnecessary. My wife is an absolutely fantastic cook. She loves cooking, and she takes the Christmas meal in her stride completely.
mm,
So I'd absolutely let her do it. But yeah, I mean, absolutely, it's turkey, it's the roast potatoes, it's parsnips. Somehow mashed potato seems to have crept onto the menu as well a little bit as well, because it's
mm,
catering for
Okay.
different people. And uh, shredded sprouts cooked with bacon, and I think Don was talking about that the other day as well. I was like, oh yeah, we have that too. So yeah, absolutely, that's it. Traditional turkey
mm,
stuffing, the whole bit. Yeah,
mm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about people catering. Like my family has this tradition. We have this. It's like an Italian ice cream cake sort of thing called cassata, and it's just we've
right.
been having it my entire life. Not me because it's got rum in it, but like when I was old enough, I could have it. But now we've got like the family's growing, and it's like the top layer is nuts, and it's just like, I don't like nuts. So now, my mum who
Yeah,
whips it up together, she's like making sections where there's no nuts. I'm going, you're just taking you're dismantling the dessert.
Yeah.
yeah.
If they don't like nuts,
Totally.
pick it off. But like, you shouldn't. I'm just like, no, no. You either have
Don't
it.
mess with the classic, man. Like
Yes.
I was going to say that, like the more people you have to cater for, the more people go, oh, I'm allergic to this, I'm
Yeah.
gluten free this. I don't care. Just
Yeah.
pick. Like I'm with Jamie. You don't like something that's in the dish, you get served the dish and you pick it out. Sure,
Yes.
it may kill you, but I mean, isn't that what Christmas is about? Someone
Yeah.
nearly dying.
One thing we do actually is we cook a second meat, and sometimes
Mm,
that's where the variety can come in. So we'll do a venison or a ham or something and have that
mm.
as well. So if anyone isn't particularly bothered about turkey, then there's always that alternative there. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't met anyone who doesn't like turkey.
No,
No,
I,
absolutely.
I
I
I use turkey as a secret weapon because I know for a fact that my wife, who I've known for now 14 years, if I give her any kind of turkey, like, the turkey loaf or turkey from an actual proper bird, or even just, the packaged turkey,
Mm.
within half an hour, she'll be asleep. And that works for our whole family. So, if I ever have had enough and I just need some me time and I just want to, read a book or, play some games or something, I'll just feed a turkey. I won't tell her it's turkey, but I'll feed it to her. And then by the time she realizes it, she's already eaten some. So she'll be out of sleep for 2 hours in about 20 minutes. So, yeah, that's how I put her to sleep.
I can just imagine a whole family there, and you just like you slide them the turkey, and then they all go
Mhm.
punk.
Yep. I'm not even
right.
joking. I've timed every single time I've given a turkey. The longest it's taken her to fall asleep is half an hour, and the quickest is about 10 minutes because she had a lot of that before realizing it was actually turkey.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the fun question.
Mhm.
Um, what is now we've got this what do you call it? The Mount Rushmore we normally do
Mhm.
of TV shows, but because it's Christmas, we're going to do the Mount Rushmore of Christmas movies.
Oh, I
And
like what you've
yes,
done there, Jamie.
I've given them the Mount Rushmore. I don't know if this offends Americans, but I don't care. I dressed up their their beloved presidents in
Looks great. Yeah.
Christmas outfits. But yeah, so what's your Christmas movies? Your top four?
Well, yeah, I'm going to have to say, okay, I'll say Die Hard because absolutely, but I want to just go slightly sideways with that. I'm going to say Die Hard 2,
Mm,
Mhm.
controversially. I mean, Die Hard's a given, right?
yeah.
I know that there's the endless argument about whether it's a Christmas movie. It is, but
Mm, mm,
Die Hard 2 is as well. I think it
yeah.
should get mentioned.
Mm,
It's got more snow in it. It's still
Mhm.
Christmas Eve, and you've got all this. You're at, what is it, Dulles International Airport in Washington or
mm,
wherever, and there's all these people trying to get to wherever they need to be for Christmas. There's a grander sense of scale from a Christmas perspective. So I don't think Die Hard 2 should be ignored in the
mm,
conversation. In fact, I did read somewhere that somebody asked Bruce Willis if Die Hard 2 was a Christmas movie, and he said no, it's a Bruce Willis movie,
Yeah.
which I thought was terrific. But I think it is. So
mm.
I'm gonna, just go slightly adjacent, and I'm gonna say Die Hard 2.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so that's the first one. Shall I go on to the second one? Yeah.
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 Okay. All right. So um, I love this one. It's just such a terrific film. It's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay.
Um, the Tim Burton
Yeah.
animation with Jack Skellington, and the songs are terrific. I've watched it so many times. I just absolutely marvel at the animation, and every time you watch it, there's something new to see. I just love it. Absolutely terrific.
Okay.
And yeah. So that's my second one.
Number two.
Um,
Yeah.
so number three. Now I don't actually watch that many Christmas movies to be honest. Usually when Christmas comes around, I just watch all the movies I haven't caught up with. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
I'm so behind. I finally maybe got a bit of time to actually catch up with films. So, just watch whatever. And it isn't necessarily Christmas films, but I will, for this, the sake of this, I'll say Love Actually. Now it's a London movie, right? It's great in that sense. It really, it evokes London at Christmas in a terrific way. It has got some, obviously questionable elements in it as well. I think that haven't aged quite so well, but there's still some great stuff in there. And I think probably the greatest thing in there for me is the bit with Emma Thompson where she. Have you seen it?
Once, very long time ago.
Yeah, okay. There's a sequence with Emma Thompson where she gets a Christmas present. It's not what she's expecting, and she there's a song playing, and it's just absolutely heartbreaking scene. She plays it so well. It's just terrific. And it's just the acting masterclass from her, really. So Love Actually. And my fourth one, I don't know if you're going to let this one in, but I'm going to say it anyway. Is Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Now I know there isn't a lot of Christmas in Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I don't even think they have Christmas in Star Wars, but the point here is that I don't know how much you're into Star Wars. I love it, but we had this period of time where after Return of the Jedi, then we had the prequel movies, and then we had this big period of time where we thought there was going to be no more Star Wars, and then suddenly there was an announcement in like 2012 where George Lucas sold Lucasfilm, and then they announced Episode 7, and everyone just went crazy. And then over a period of time in the run up from 2012 to 2015 when it came out, everyone was like, well, what's it going to be like? Who's going to be directing it? Who's going to be in it? What's it going to be about? All of this stuff. It was going to be new Star Wars. And when it came along, and I think the trailer was like a year before, and it was around the Christmas as well, and people were lapping it up. And then when the actual Christmas came around, where The Force Awakens, the film actually came out, I was absolutely in Christmas mode. It's like, this is going to be the biggest Christmas present. You can imagine, we've waited so long for new Star Wars. And I remember it was opened just before Christmas, went to the cinema to watch it, and I was in just such an emotional place. And it was like having a Christmas gift. It came around that time. And for now, whenever I see The Force Awakens, or even if I think about it, it just reminds me of Christmas. And so while it's not a Christmas movie, if you're talking about all the things that you want from a Christmas movie, it creates all of those feelings for me anyway. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know if you have similar thoughts like that. But
I mean, it's better than the Star Wars Christmas special. So
yeah, I never actually saw that. Yeah,
don't just don't.
Right.
Well, seeing as how much that movie means to you, and it's not technically a Christmas movie, I don't think we can allow it in there because you clearly don't feel strongly enough for that film. No, I'm joking. Yeah, look, that's totally fine. If that brings to me, a Christmas movie is something that you've watched around Christmas time multiple times around Christmas time, and it's kind of become a tradition.
Yeah.
Whether it's set during Christmas time or whether it came out at Christmas, to me that's something that is a tradition, and I watch the same Christmas movies every year, and so I think that is fine to allow into the Christmas movie Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
Cool. Can I just give an honorable mention?
Yes.
I'm a fan of horror, and Ryan, I know you are too. There's another film that's set at Christmas, which is a lesser known one, called Await Further Instructions. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a British movie set around Christmas, but obviously it goes full horror. yeah, absolutely terrific movie, and I just wanted to give that as an honorable mention. I wouldn't necessarily stick it on the Mount Rushmore, but I thought it just deserved a mention. I wanted
Mm.
to just get that in
Okay,
there.
that's one I've heard of, but I haven't seen, so I will
Yeah,
put that on my
definitely
list.
worth a look.
I have a list on my notepad on my phone
Oh yeah.
when someone tells me a horror movie that I haven't seen. So
Mm.
I will add that to my list now. Await further instructions, yeah?
That's it. Yeah.
Okay,
No,
done. Awesome.
you can put it in your phone. You don't have to wait for the. See
Ha, 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 ha.
what I
You're
did
so
there?
funny. You have so many dad jokes, and yet you are not a dad. It's
Yeah,
funny.
no.
Um, it is. It's really hilarious. Anyway, question number 4. The ghost of Christmas past pays you a visit and offers to take you back to relive any part of your life. When or where are you going?
Okay. Um, so aside from meeting my wife, my wedding day, and the birth of my 2 kids, that I mean they're kind of like a given.
All the boring stuff.
Yeah. um I back in the 90s, I worked for an oil company. I'm IT by profession, but I worked in an oil company, and they were exploring in the Falkland Islands. And so I went down there really just to do IT work with the crew that was down there. I ended up on an oil rig, and stayed on there for a while. It was just, it was only a period of about 2 weeks, but it was just such an incredible experience. And, one of those experiences that, okay, appreciated it for what it was at the time, but actually afterwards, thinking back, thinking, wow, it was not a lot of people get to go there. And, I was very much, it was around the time that I was getting very heavily into writing science fiction. And there was something about the location, the remoteness, obviously, the travel to and from this oil rig, staying on this remote island. I was having to work to UK time as well. So I was doing a lot of work at night. So, and I'd have to walk through Port Stanley, and I'd look up at the stars in the middle of the night, and it was so clear. It's just so incredible. Very, very formative for me from a point of view of writing science fiction. I did actually later write a short story set there, and it was published in a magazine. Yeah, so I kind of consider it as one of the main sort of things that crystallized the way that I choose to think about the universe, writing, all of those things, and internalized a lot while I was there. There's not a huge amount to do when you're in Port Stanley, especially if you're waiting for stuff to happen. So yeah, it was quite an important moment for me, I think. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So, what, how did you get to the oil rig? Was it like in the movies, it's always a chopper. It's a helicopter.
Yeah.
Is that true? Or is it?
Yeah, it was a chopper. We had to wear this uh like a suit that's got like rubber seals all around the neck and the collars and everything, obviously in case you end up in the water. I had to watch a video on what to do if the helicopter ends up in the water upside down. Everybody else gets to do training, but I was like, no, just watch this video, you'll be okay. Like, fine. And yes, you go. Actually, interestingly, when we were flying back, because a lot of it's handled by the military down there. When we were flying back from the rig, we were coming in from the north of the island, and we landed just in this farm. And the door of this chopper opened, and this guy ran over and just put loads of boxes of eggs into the into the chopper, closed the door, and we took off and flew away. It was quite funny. Yeah.
That's so the thing that I think of it when I think oil rig is Henry Cavill in Man of Steel. It's just the only thing I think of.
Oh right, I'm trying to remember that.
Because yeah, it's an old movie. It's an old movie. It's like I think it was his first shirtless scene.
Right. I did like it. I do remember really enjoying it actually,
Yeah,
but I can't remember a lot of the detail from it. Yeah.
it's been a long time for me. I gotta go back and watch it again. But yeah, look, you passed the icebreakers. There's there's less ones, one less one to the Christmas season. But now we want to know all about you. Me and Ryan are massive comic book fans. We love origin stories. So, what is your author origin story?
Okay. So I guess I guess initially, like when I was very young, my reading experience was mainly like the choose your own adventure books. I don't know if you
Mm.
remember those.
Yep.
I collected loads of
Yeah.
those, like the Cave of Time and Journey Under the Sea. There was loads of great ones, and absolutely lapped those up. And so that was kind of reading, initially for me. Then I started reading people like Alan Garner, British author, into sort of very folky but creepy tales. Um, and beyond that, I think probably once once I started seeing things that were scary, like horror, whether it's I remember American Werewolf in London, Salem's Lot, which traumatized me. And actually, one other thing I'll mention is that I used to watch a program which had one season. It was like 1980 or 81 or something. It's called Hammer House of Horror. And it was just a series of like 10 episodes of each one was about 40 minutes long, obviously from the Hammer House. And there was one episode which it used to air on Saturday night, and I'd watch it. And I was probably too young to watch it, but I'd stay up and watch it. And there was one episode called "The Two Faces of Evil," and I'll never forget it because there was one image from that program which is burned on my brain from a horror perspective, and it's like one of those moments you think that kind of set me on a path. I think you can even find it on YouTube. I know it's on some of the streaming platforms. I mean, it hasn't really stood the test of time all that well, but there's this one image of this family driving down a country road. It's raining, it's middle of the afternoon or whatever, and the kid looks out the window when they pull up to a junction and sees this this man in a yellow raincoat standing just in the woods there. And that's the image that just scared, because when you know what happens and when they finally actually encounter this guy, it's bad. But yeah, absolutely traumatic for me after that. Slept with the lights on and all of that kind of stuff. And so this was crystallizing my sort of love for horror. Science fiction came a little bit later, but then I'd read Stephen King and Dean Koontz and all of that stuff. Then as with many writers who were influenced by Stephen King in those early years, tried to copy him. I was definitely trying to do that, and I'd write all this stuff, and not all of it was very good. And I think it probably wasn't until I was about 23, 24 that my dad gave me a copy of a book. He may not have given it to me, actually. He just recommended it to me, called Rendezvous with Rama by Arthur C. Clarke. And that completely are you familiar with the book?
No.
Okay. That completely opened my mind to science fiction and the scale and scope of it. And there were some big science fiction movies coming out, and all of that kind of coalesced for me. So I started writing sci-fi, bits of horror maybe as well, but I really leaned into sci-fi and wrote a couple of novels. The first of which was a novel which I published called Schaeffer's Integrity, and that was also slightly influenced by, I think the thing that started me writing that was I was playing a computer game called X Beyond the Frontier. It was like a space trading game, like Elite and some of these other ones that you have. And as I was playing it, I was like, oh, I'm sure you could set a story in the space trading sort of environment, and really get into the nuts and bolts of particular transactions or something like that. So I tried to write. That's what Schaeffer's Integrity started off as, and the scope of it kind of went bigger and bigger and kind of became a little bit more existential. But that's what that story is. And then I went to a residential writing course. This is about 2003. Stayed there for a week and mixing with other people, obviously really keen to develop their skill as novel writers. And it was in a fantastic house in Yorkshire that used to belong to the poet Ted Hughes, place called Lumbank, and it was really, really great. There were other authors, published authors there, talking you through how to do things like subtext and various things like that. So trying to learn a bit of the craft as well. And I came away from that and wrote a novel called Spireclaw, which is a sort of a supernatural, a little bit horror adjacent story. And yeah, I felt with that one that my craft had developed. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people, even though it was quite, it's quite written quite a long time ago, a lot of people do still say that that's their favorite one of mine. I personally have seen my development beyond that. Do you know what I mean? But it was a good story. I can't take away that bit, and that's obviously what people have engaged with. So then I wrote a lot of short stories and got them into magazines, science fiction short stories. Not big magazines, but they were certainly picked up here and there. So gave me an opportunity to sort of feel like I could, or confirm that I could write decent stuff and that people would want to read it and also publish it. Never managed to get that with novels or anything like that, but certainly with short stories throughout the 2000s. A couple of those became collections. There was one called the Axiom Few, which is a collection of science fiction short stories, which is about a group of guys who they're like, I call them freelance techno graduates. They live in London, they're young, they're very intelligent, they operate out of a little shack underneath the motorway, and they build these crazy things, and they're usually called upon by big corporations to save the universe or whatever. And kind of a pulpy sort of approach. There's a bit of humor in there, a bit of big science fiction and stuff like that. So I put that into a collection. In fact, the first story of that, it came about as a story called the Ceres configuration, Ceres as in the asteroid belt series, which started life as a potential short film. Actually, I entered a competition that was being run by Ridley Scott's
wow
company, and it was to come up with a short science fiction script. I mean, actually, the scope of this was ridiculously big. You needed immense budget for it. So I didn't really think it through properly, and obviously it didn't win. But I thought, I'm going to turn this into a story. And when it became a short story, it was published. So it obviously had some value, but just not as a movie. So I wrote more with the characters, and other ones got published, and then I consolidated that into a book called The Axiom Few. I had some other ghost stories, which were centered around trains, and so I collated those into a short story collection called The Train Set, and there's a novella in there as well. So yeah, then I kind of stopped because I had kids, and life got in the way, and I suppose between about 2012 and 2020, not really having much time to write at all. And it's only since 2020 that I've picked back up, and I'm going, my kids are a bit older. They don't demand quite so much of my time. In fact, half the time they don't want to know me at all. And so I get time to, time to do more writing. So yeah, that's kind of how I got to here, I suppose. Yeah.
So do you find, do you write pretty quick, or have you just written a whole lot over the years and now you're editing them all, or like how's that been?
I write quick. I mean, the one I wrote when I kind of started back up, the Tolworth Beacon, I wrote in a month. I thought I'm going to try that, because that there's this thing where people write a book in a month. I thought I'm going to have a go. And although the way it works for me is that I do a whole load of prep in my mind. I don't go anywhere near a page until I've kind of formed half or more than half of the story. And the longer I let it percolate, the better, and the better I feel it comes out, and also the more quickly it comes out, and I'm not struggling at the laptop to try and force words to come out. So then the writing process is actually quite quick in that sense. It isn't always the case. There are a couple of times where I might stall, and then it's a long time, and I might even write something else and go back. But the actual I try not to let it be too protracted, actually, because my enthusiasm to get the story out is the thing that drives the process. Yeah, you must feel this too.
Yeah.
I
mean, it helps with Ryan being an alpha reader. He's like,
where's
the next lot? Where's the next lot?
Right.
And it pressures me to keep going. By the way, Ryan, you'll have another block of 3 soon.
Awesome.
I did
reading the last one you sent me yesterday, I think. I started reading that today, but it's that one, because it's PDF, it's annoying to read on my phone, so I'm going to stick to reading it on my tablet.
I can, I
But
can, I
yeah,
can.
I read the first. Mhm.
I know this is a bit of a segue, but I can send it to you in Kindle if you want, if it's easier.
No, it's all good. It just means I'll read it on my tablet, which I do at night anyway, so it's all
Yeah,
good.
cool. Yeah, yeah. Ryan's my cheerleader squad.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I've read everything Jamie's written.
Yeah.
So much so that when we did an episode a couple of weeks ago for his launch of his book, I guess, and it had been like 2.5 months since I'd read it. So I had to try and remember a lot of the stuff that happened because I've read like 7 books since. And everyone else was like, "Oh, I just finished it last night." It's like, yeah, I probably should have reread it, but I still remembered most of it.
Yeah, enough to say, hey, I want a prequel and a
Yeah,
sequel to
for
the prequel,
sure.
and I'm just like, don't give
Cool.
me more,
Definitely.
don't give me more. Yeah. All right, let's bring up some of these covers. I just grabbed because you had so many. I grabbed a collage. Let's just say I grabbed a collage.
Okay.
We can- So you can see some of the stuff you've got. I think
Yeah,
some of them you mentioned. You mentioned the ghost story. You mentioned the Axiom Few. Hoodwink's Folly is the board game one, isn't it?
that's right. Yeah, that's the one with the board game on it.
Yeah. Is it a car related board game or is that something else?
No, that's something else. You don't find out what that is until you finish the book. But
Mm.
yeah, I'm not an artist myself in any
Yeah.
way. So some of these covers have been done by commissioned
Yep.
people, and so the Sapling Method was commissioned. Lady called Katerina did that one for me, and she also did the Tolworth Resonance is a sequel, but the first book, the Tolworth Beacon, is the same cover actually, just hasn't got the lights on it, but
Yeah.
it's obviously by the same artist. And the train set was also by her. The Axiom Few is an interesting one because my dad actually drew that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Pencil sketch. Yeah, he is a great artist and does great pencil sketches and stuff. So I did ask him if he wouldn't mind having a crack at. He'd read the stories, and he sort of did that for me. Actually, it's funny because I've got the obviously I've got the actual one here, but I scanned it at such a high resolution, obviously on there, that you can go right up to the page. It looks like it's been just drawn straight on there. So
Awesome.
it came out really, really well. So yeah, props to him for that one. And Schaefer's Integrity. Yeah, so that was a guy who I found on. I was looking at speculative fiction art, sci-fi art forums, and looking at some of the incredible stuff that people are just drawing and putting up there. And this is going back 23 years now, 2001. Yeah. So sorry, that's when I wrote it. It was a little bit later that I actually found publication, but so I just reached out to one of these guys who'd done some terrific images. And he we had an interaction, and I said, look, I've got the story and this is kind of what I imagined for the cover. Can I commission you to do it? And he did. So that's actually a wraparound one, but yeah, obviously that's the front bit there, but yeah
That's
so
awesome.
that's the yeah.
I love the variety. It's just like
Mhm.
they all look different. Like, because science fiction and horror, are they your main genres that you try and tackle?
Yeah. So science fiction, horror. I don't go full horror.
Yeah.
I like to have horrific things happen. And in a number of those books, at least one horrific thing happens. But would I say it was the genre of the book? No.
No.
Like certainly latterly. So talking about Sapling Method, Hoodwink's Folly, Tolworth Resonance, and its prequel Tolworth Beacon, which are the ones that I've written since like 2020. Lean very much into kind of like the John Wyndham style. So you've got this kind of English mystery, very English suburban normal life, but then woven into that you've got something that's completely bizarre, completely out of. If you think about Day of the Triffids, Wyndham's book, you've got exactly that, haven't you? You've got that kind of normal suburban accoutrements, and then you've got this crazy thing that's happened, and it just throws everything into disarray. So I like that. I like that real juxtaposition, and a lot of people who've read it, like that too. So there's science fiction elements. There's obviously a lot of mystery, generally a little bit of horror, but just try and throw all of that together and just create something that's a bit of a mix of all of that, rather than leaning specifically into any one of them, I suppose.
Are there any genres that you're yet to tackle but you'd like to tackle?
I was thinking about this because I've had an idea of something that I might tackle. I've those Michael Crichton stories.
Yeah.
Things like Coma and the Andromeda Strain. I always love those sinister science facility that's in a remote location, and they're up to no good, and there's a conspiratorial element. And why am I here? What are you doing to me? All that kind of stuff. And I've always wanted to do a story that's a little bit like that, but I never quite had the idea that would back that up. I have since had that idea, so I am tempted to actually maybe crack on with that one in the new year. Just do the creepy. I know Dean Koontz did it a few times as well. The creepy facility that's up on the hill. Nobody knows what's going on in there. So I think I'm going to do one of those.
Excellent. Got any questions, Ryan? I just think I've been talking a lot.
I've been on your Kindle page while we've been recording, and I picked up two so far. I picked up Hoodwink Folly. Did you say that was your latest one that you've written?
So Hoodwink's Folly came out October 24. The latest one that I've written is the Tolworth Resonance, but that's a sequel. It's a sequel to the Tolworth Beacon, which is 2020. So Tolworth Resonance is this year, but it's a sequel. So you have to have read the first one. Hoodwink's Folly is getting a lot of love at the moment. So that's probably a good way in to my books.
I also picked up the Train set about the collection of ghost stories as well, because obviously that's my jam. But I'm not massively into sci-fi, but from how you've described some of the books, I definitely want to give them a go. Same with Jamie. I'm not into sci-fi, but his two books that he's written about sci-fi I really like. So I've got I picked up I'm sorry, I apologise. I've been up since 5 a.m. and it's now 9:05. The sapling one.
Sapling method. Yeah.
Yeah, I picked up that one. I got the Train. So I think those three I'll start with, and then I can go into some of the other stuff too. Because I find that if I like your style of writing, it doesn't matter what genre you write, I will stick with it. So I'm going to start off with those three.
Oh, you're too kind. Thank you. The other one, the Tolworth Beacon, was born out of a period of time that I was listening to number stations online. I don't know if you know about number stations, sort of mysterious broadcasts that happen in the middle of the night, just numbers. They still go on. They've been going on since the Cold War, and obviously used by spies in the field to decode messages and take actions based on that. But if you've ever listened to one, a number station, if you can find them online now, because they get live streamed sort of thing, rather than having to get a shortwave radio and tune it to whatever kilohertz. But the Tolworth Beacon. So that's kind of one of those stories. You got a guy, he's just a supermarket worker, really mundane job. He's trying to navigate some problems in his marriage, but then he suddenly gets wind of a number station, and then he also starts to realize that they're talking about him. So it's like a mystery that he has to unravel and figure out what's going on. Why on earth is he factoring into these numbers that are being broadcast across, continents? That's why they're used. They're shortwave band. They can be bounced across continents. So what's going on? So it's that kind of, guy in a supermarket, number stations, spy, mystery, all that. Try and crash those two genres together, and I think that one's landed quite well. It's certainly my most reviewed one on Amazon, and I think people really like that kind of jarring element, and why are these two things coming together in that way. So I try and do that a lot.
Yeah, I love genre blending. Because I think deeply about my stories and I don't care about the genre. I go, what's the story?
Yeah, get it.
And
Yeah.
and apparently it's annoying to some people. I think, yeah, Don, when he first read not my most recent book, but the one before, he's just like going like, you're a marketer's nightmare. It's like, is this sci-fi? I mean, sort of. You know?
I guess that's why I'm indie, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no way that will get
No.
put together in a way that's sort of a traditionally published marketable sort of
Yeah.
approach. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like I barely read as it is, and when I do, it's all indie stuff now because I just love people can have freedom to do what they
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
Like I mean, the author we talk about all the time, Janelle Shiki, she was saying that she breaks the rules. You're not supposed to start a chapter with dialogue, and she's done that. I've done that, and it's just like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I've read a couple
There
of her
shouldn't be
books,
any
and they're
rules
really great.
in when it comes to writing. There shouldn't be any rules.
no,
You should be able to
I
just
mean,
write the story you want to write and
yeah,
write it the way you want to write it.
yeah. I mean, there definitely should be grammar rules, and
Oh
then
yeah, you know what I
foundation
mean. But
rules,
like
but like, yeah,
none of this, like I think we had a guest on and they were like, I was told never to write flashbacks in a book, but I write flashbacks. You've done a really good flashback in your novel Ancora. Like I just don't like it when people tell you what not
yeah,
to do.
yeah,
Because as long as it's not spelling or grammatical, write the
yeah,
story how you want to write it.
yeah.
Because
That's it.
at the end of the day, that's what you're going to get people that like it no matter what.
Yeah. It's like don't write flashbacks. I'm going like, here's 4 chapters of a flashback.
Yeah. But you can do you can write anything. If you're a good writer, anything
Yeah,
you write will be good. That's just saying, when you say don't write flashbacks, it means that that person who said don't write flashbacks is no good at writing flashbacks. So it's ridiculous.
that's it. That's it. Just
But
quickly
yeah,
before.
and thank you for that conversation we just literally just had there, Huw, because the two um, I've now bought 5 of your books, The Tolworth Residence and The Tolworth Beacon. So
All right. Well, yeah, maybe I should get a job as a marketer as well then.
Lovely.
You've done all
I'm
right.
just a
Thank
sucker
you.
for really good synopsises.
Yeah.
And I love stories. I'm a massive Matthew Riley fan, and he's done a couple of books where he's incorporated the number stations into it. And because he mainly writes about espionage and spies and CIA and stuff like that. So that stuff really intrigues me. So I'm glad my wife is back home feeding our cats and not coming back to tomorrow, because now I have to tell her I bought 18 books this week instead of just 12.
Uh,
But I always preface it by saying, but look, I haven't paid over $7 a book. I haven't said that I've paid $7 for each of the 18 books I've bought. I just say, look, I'm supporting indie authors.
yeah.
But I'm the same as you, Jamie. I have on my TBR list, I think I have maybe 5 or 6 traditional published authors of their new books that have come out this year. And every time I finish an indie book, I'm like, okay, I'm going to read one of these ones. And then I'm just like, oh, but I really want to read this book and it's indie. So I read that book. And then after I finish that book, I'm like, oh, I'm going to read Stephen King's new book, or, Joe Hill's new book. And then I'm like, oh, but this book sounds so good and it's indie. So this year, I have only read indie books, and I've read a lot. So it's
So,
just so many good indie authors out there. And I would never have discovered them if it hadn't been for this podcast. So
mm.
Yeah, I'm happy.
There you go. Now, quickly before I forget, because I want to talk about the Hoodwink one, where it's about a board game. Well, there's a
Mhm.
Yeah.
board game in it. Did you create the actual board game with all the rules and everything?
So it, as far as I am concerned, it's a fully playable game. I didn't create it in any way beyond. So a lot of the rules are read out by one of the characters in the book,
Oh, okay.
uh, because while some of that isn't absolutely integral to the plot, it does do character building early on because it's an interaction between the players, and you get a sense of certain elements of that interaction which I want to build on later in the
Hmm.
story. But I do spend a period of time at the beginning of that book describing getting the game out of the box, constructing the board because it has it's a board and it's got like
Yeah.
this mountain in it that clips together with all the plastic bits, and then there's the Hoodwink's Folly goes on the top and it's battery operated. So all of that I wanted to feel real because everything else that happens afterwards requires that game
Hmm.
feels real. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of went there with it, and some of the instructions get read out, and I'm hoping to the point where anyone who steps away from the book goes, well, yeah, I get how that game works, and I'd probably play it. So just enough to make
Yeah.
it functional in the book, but not beyond that, because I think
Hmm.
you're pushing it too much then. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, on a scale from one to Monopoly, how family relationship destroying is the game?
When you say one to Monopoly, I'm not quite sure how you. Oh,
Well,
okay.
well,
Monopoly is
well,
like that.
Monopoly's the game that destroys relationships,
Okay.
apparently. So,
Right. So the game itself does not. It's a fairly benign game.
all right.
It's about what happens after you've played it.
Hmm.
So
Oh,
yeah, um, yeah. I don't want to go anywhere into spoiler
now I'm in.
territory.
Buy the book. Now, this is
It's
where
a
you
kid.
stare at the camera and say, "Buy the book," and
Buy the
find
book.
out.
Buy the book. Then someone can make the game and give it to me for Christmas.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's definitely the one that's intrigued me the most. Um,
Great, great.
so,
Yeah.
so what are you working on right now? Have you got another 7 million books coming out, or are you just focusing on one?
Well, I normally just focus on one, to be honest, and then I hit it hard and try and write it quickly. I can't do multiple projects. It's just
Yeah, it's hard.
the brain can't do it. I need to go all in on a single project. Having just released Tolworth Resonance, which actually, despite everything I've said, did take 3 years to bring to life. With lots of big gaps in between, but when I was on it, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean. So I'm kind of coming down off Tolworth Resonance. It has sparked ideas about a third book. So I'm contemplating whether to tackle that. Um, I've also got this other idea about the Michael Crichton-esque sort
Mm.
of sinister facility thing. And then there is another one that's just popped into my mind, which is also game related, but in a very
Ooh.
different way, sort of like a stag weekend type uh, what's the word, like a big event thing that you can go to.
Yeah.
And so I've got the setting, but I haven't quite got the story yet. So
Mm.
weirdly, I'm in a place where I've got three potential things to embark on. I've vowed to myself I'm not touching anything till the new year.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna absorb stuff like TV, books, other things. Go out and do things, and
Yeah.
refresh the creative uh, jug of water or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and then start again. I think I'm probably going to do the Crichton one though.
Yeah.
That's yeah, yeah,
Excellent.
yeah.
Well, I think it's time to give you even more ideas because we're going to play story pitch.
Mhm.
Okay,
Have you seen the story pitches before?
I have. I have no idea if I'm going to be any good at this because, like, I think as I've alluded to, it takes me quite a long time to pull a story together in my mind before I'm anywhere near being able to sort of foist it onto the world. So,
Well,
yeah,
you'd be
who knows?
surprised. One of the guys that came on said he was really, really nervous about it, and then he did it, and he seemed so easy.
All
Like it
right.
was just flowing. That was Mike Nunnally when he was on, and he said, "Oh, he was freaking out." Like, and he did great stories. So You
Okay.
never know, and it is pre-recorded, so you can have some pausing time.
All right, I might need it.
You know, so I'm gonna bring it up. Okay, so this is the Christmas edition of Story Pitch. We're going to give you a setting, genre, main character's profession, and a Christmas edition. However, you got to give us the numbers, or we can spin the wheel because we have found a website where you can spin the wheel. So you can give us numbers between 1 and 12, or spin the wheel. The choice is absolutely yours.
Okay, I'd like to go with numbers, please.
Okay. Well, between
So
1 and
between
12,
okay, so first number 3,
yes,
second number 6,
yes,
third number 10,
yep.
and fourth number 11.
11. All right, let's consult the first graph. Okay, so your setting is a suburban cul-de-sac. We get this quite often.
Mhm. And your genre is something that you're very, very unfamiliar with. It's sci-fi.
Oh, this is great already because your main character is a dance instructor.
And your Christmas edition, which is something that needs to appear in the story, is Santa holding a meeting to decide what to do with naughty steam train drivers, seeing as coal wouldn't necessarily be seen as a punishment.
Santa holding a meeting to see what should be done with no. Run that by me again. No.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Santa is holding a meeting with the
Yeah.
elves and everything to decide what to do with naughty steam train drivers, seeing as if he gives them coal, they're actually going to want that because that powers their steam train. So
Yeah.
it's not really a punishment. So what would you then give naughty steam train drivers? So he's holding a meeting with the elves to discuss that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, you don't need to answer that question specifically. That just has to be happening somewhere in the story.
Okay. Right.
So I'll run it by you again. It is a cul-de-sac. It's a science fiction. Your main character is a dance instructor, and Santa has to be having a meeting. Doesn't really say with who, but he has to be having a meeting to discuss the problem of naughty steam train drivers.
Okay, I'm going to freewheel this a little bit, but
Okay.
so you've got a suburban cul-de-sac with a
Mhm.
number of houses, all decked out for Christmas because it's Christmas,
Yep.
and all the houses are looking fantastic. And one evening, somebody on the cul-de-sac, a dance instructor, is having a session in their garage or whatever, which they've converted to have like music and
Yeah.
you know, do dancing with people who come. As everybody's leaving, all the cars drive off, and in the middle of the cul-de-sac, where there's a little piece of grass where people can drive around it to exit the cul-de-sac, there's a Christmas present sitting there. And so they don't know, it doesn't look like it's a delivery that's just found its way into the wrong place. Is that an actual Christmas present rather than it being a box that's got a Christmas present in it? It's a present. It's big and it's sitting there. So this dance instructor goes up to the present, doesn't know whether it's a suspicious package, ums and ahs about it, starts knocking on all the other doors. Does anybody know why this is here? Everyone's sort of shaking their head, and a bit of a crowd of all of the families and people sort of congregate near this Christmas present that's just sitting there. And eventually, I think you might know where I'm going with this, right? Eventually, somebody plucks up the courage to open the present, and inside there is a sort of portal. It's like a little orb, and it's glowing. And as they look closer to it, they realize that they're actually seeing into another dimension of the same cul-de-sac. So we're into the multiverse now, right?
Yeah.
But it just so happens to be the middle of a meeting that's being held on that very cul-de-sac. All the chairs around it, and Santa is there talking to his elves, asking them what to do with naughty steam train drivers um, who shouldn't be getting coal. How does that
Brilliant.
sound? Is that
Honestly,
right?
I think the way that you led yourself to it was so good. I really, really like that. See, you're good at it.
Okay.
That
Okay.
was
Well,
great.
I feel like maybe I've acquitted myself. Hopefully.
Well, let's see if that's the case because now it's round two.
Oh, okay. Right. Round two.
It's a separate graph, so we can use the same numbers. It'll be a different outcome, or you can give us new numbers. Completely up to you.
Okay. I'll go with new numbers. Not that I can particularly remember the numbers I used before. So, number two,
Two,
7,
7,
9,
yep,
and 12.
and 12.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's gonna be fun. Okay, so your setting is a high security prison.
Okay.
Okay. Your genre is a dark comedy,
All right. Your main your main character is a door-to-door salesman.
and your Christmas edition, which is something that has to appear in this story, is Mariah Carey.
Okay.
The high security prison, it's got to be a dark comedy. Your main character is a door-to-door salesman, and it's got to have Mariah Carey.
And it can't just have the song that she sings, it actually has to have
It has to
Mariah Carey in it.
be her.
Right, Harry.
And she can't be playing a door-to-door salesman. It has to be Mariah Carey.
Okay. Okay. This one doesn't feel quite so easy for some reason.
Yeah.
It is
Dark,
harder.
yeah, dark comedy. I mean, like, right.
Or like Shaun of the Dead would be considered a dark comedy.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Most of the Simon Pegg movies, Hot Fuzz would be a dark comedy.
Okay.
Um,
So, well, sh- should Mariah Carey be in a high security prison for
Yes, yes.
yes, for playing the Christmas song too much.
playing that song too much? I mean, I actually like the song, but it started to be a little bit of a crime, right?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping I've boxed off the first and the last one
Yeah.
straight away.
Straight
But
away,
also, uh, maybe that's the dark comedy bit too. There is also a door-to-door salesman who happens to be in the cell next to her, who this is daft. This is completely daft. Who has also been sent to the high security prison for going around and trying to sell the surplus of CD singles for All I Want for Christmas Is You to all the people of the world, or just the UK or whatever. Not that there really would be a surplus of CDs. I don't know. Maybe now everyone's moved to streaming. I think I'm struggling with this one a little bit. But
No, I'm sorry, it's brilliant. I don't
think
care. It's good.
I've just created a scenario. I haven't actually given it a beginning, middle, or an end. You could
Well-
probably build it out into that, I suppose.
No, well, well, it's just a pitch. So it's like almost like a black cover.
Yeah.
You just need to give us
Well, there we go.
the
Yeah.
ideas of how it's going to come together. No, that's brilliant. Mariah Carey in a high security prison for singing the song too much. A door-to-door salesman in there for trying to get rid of all the CDs. It's just
And you know what? They could pair up because every good comedy movie has a person that you like, which could be the door-to-door salesman, and then a person you hate, which could be Mariah Carey.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's the unlikely pairing, isn't it?
Yes.
That's where you get some of the drama from.
And
Yeah.
they could uh, do a jailbreak as well. Not that
Yeah.
we want that. Oh no, that was great. Honestly, that's one of my favorites.
Oh, cool. Great stuff.
So after we record before you go, what we do now is we give all our guests to give us a crazy edition. It won't be a Christmas one because once Christmas season's over, we go back to the normal one. But we want to build a list. So you can give us a crazy edition to add to the stories, and we'll add it to the list.
Okay, a crazy addition.
But just think of it now. Don't tell
Right.
us now, because then people will know what it is. We
Okay.
don't want people to know what it is. But yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been so much fun.
Mhm.
No, thank you. No, it's been a great laugh. Yeah, brilliant. It's great to chat to you.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is give you the floor to plug yourself. Where can people buy your books? Where can people follow you and stay up to date with all you're doing? The floor's yours.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so I'm on most of the socials as Huw Langridge, and so that's TikTok, X, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads. On Facebook, I'm Huw Langridge Books, and I think that's all of them. And YouTube, and also I've got a website, huwlangridge.co.uk, and you can get my stuff on Amazon. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, guys, if you want to reach out, thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com. If you've got a book cover that you want to submit to our Wort series that me and Neil do, reach out, thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com, or send us a message on one of our socials. We love to hear from our audience. And until next time, keep supporting those indie authors, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
See you next time.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Stories Podcast. EMU War Round 2!